When I experience an obstacle or challenge, I'm going to move past it. I'm going to shatter that glass ceiling and I'm going to keep going.
It hurts to smash a glass ceiling.
Wow, we literally have to be superheroes to walk through this life.
While I might have been the first, I pray that I'm not the last.
Hey, Janine, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you, Joshua? It's good to see you.
We are just, everyone, we are so excited about today and our guest. And so, as I always say, welcome to Taking Her Lead. And here we strive to give women a platform to tell their stories and explain how they lead. In these conversations, we do dearly hope, and we give us unique insight that women can make in leadership and in influence and transforming the way we work and live. So, Janine, you were the inception for our guest today. So do you want to talk about how that started?
Ilaria, it's just so interesting because I was surfing, LinkedIn, and I happened to have entered a contest, which was women in voices and women in voices. I think the site was Women Voices, but I entered a contest and I was one of the 6 people that won. So I was looking up all the people who were involved in that organization, and I looked at who they're linked in with, and Ilaria came up. So I was reading her LinkedIn profile, and I thought, I got to share this with you. And you ran with it. As soon as I sent that to you, something grabbed you too, I guess. So that was really fun. It's fun when that synergy happens, that connection, and we both know, oh my gosh, we got to have her as a guest, right?
Yeah, I'm sure LinkedIn is happy.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
That's how the world goes around, right?
Yeah,
that's exactly how the world goes around.
Yeah. So I reached out to Ilaria. And we had, as we normally do with our guests, had just a fascinating discussion. But she has some unique things to say. She also founded and runs Wempower and started in Italy, and she's now in London. And Wempower seeks to promote the stories of women, and just like we are. So we are kin in the world of broadcasting. And very interesting. So she's from Nuoro, Sardinia in Italy, that little island. Gorgeous island, which I have yet to be to go to. But
I'd love to go too.
gotta go there. And this week, and we just found this out as far as the town, we have Adelasia Devona, who the audio episode that's going to drop on Thursday. And Adelasia was born and raised as a young child in Nuoro, Sardinia, Italy.
Isn't that funny? We just didn't even time it that way. It just happened,
Yeah,
it's Sardinia week.
Yeah, it's Sardinia week. And it is National Sardinia Day on the 28th of April. So that's just coming up real quick.
So we're celebrating a little early.
The stars are aligned.
Yes.
So let's see. What else do we have coming up? We have Lindsay Bridges next Monday.
Lindsay is a nurse a NICU nurse, actually, who just decided to make a career change. And she's going to talk about what that looked like in a small town and business owner. And I love it when people have a U-turn in their career and do something different. And so I thought she would be interesting to our guests. And I also want to talk about Grace. Oh my gosh, Grace Van Leeuwen. She just dropped last week on the podcast. And I think because of her, she was downloaded in like 25 countries or something like that. So we gained
like 10 countries.
Yes. So it was really great. So that was really fun. And it was a great interview. I got so many positive texts and comments. And so Grace, if you're listening, thank you. It was really wonderful. Yeah. So, we're on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify. I have to look at my list. There's so many. iTunes,
Pandora.
Play, Pandora. We're in like so many great places. So if you rate and review us, we would really appreciate it. It's really great. That's how listeners find us.
Also, we post on LinkedIn, usually about 5-6 days ahead of each Monday. And so if you see that post, 2 things. We'd love if you would connect with the page. And we can you can let us know in DM if you want to be a follower, so we can invite you to do that. I think you can follow it just if you see it anyway. But also when we post that, if you can share that with your network and then ask your connections to share it as well. It's that multiplication thing. That's how we get the word out.
Yes.
And,
And so many people have done that for us because
Yeah.
we have really grown our listenership over the last, I don't know, it's been a year now. So it's been
It's been a
great.
year, a little over a year.
Yeah, I can't believe it. So
Rolling up on 5,000 downloads of just the audio.
Yep.
So incredible and just seriously exciting. Yeah. Let's see. Jeannie, anything else we wanted to mention?
So, well, I just think Ilaria is going to be a really great guest. And so I think we should just move forward.
Great. Without further ado, we want to invite Ilaria Biancacci onto our show. And here Nick will transition us. There we go. Just me, Ilaria.
Yeah, there she is.
Hello.
Yay.
Hey, Ilaria. Tell us about your day. What time is it in London?
Time now is 7 p.m. It's been a busy Monday, like every Monday, but I'm so excited. I spend the day thinking about this evening, so it kind of like, lot of rush and happiness.
Yay.
That's fabulous.
Have on Monday because you think about all the things you need to do during the week. So thank you for giving me these good vibes for today.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we're delighted that you're here. So tell our listeners, if somebody said, what is it that you do? What's your job title? What are you doing here? What would you answer them? Who are you?
Ilaria is a journalist, first of all. So I'm a journalist. I'm the founder of Wempower, which is a media platform focused on stories of ordinary women. And I also work for a small nonprofit, and I take care of their social media. So I'm their social media manager. And also because living in London, where I live right now, is quite expensive and it's not easy to be an entrepreneur. I work as a sport advisor for a retail company. So I do a lot of things all together to keep me busy and to achieve my dreams. So slowly.
That's fabulous. And talk about a dream. Talk about one of your dreams.
My dreams. Well, the dream would be to have Wempower as an international media platform where literally women from all over the world, first of all, can write as a journalist, because I know that there are not many female voices out there that they feel comfortable by talking about what they love on like mainstream media. And so I would like to be that platform for them. And at the same time, a platform that can inspire girls and women from all over the world to read stories that they look and sound like them. So something that can really relate to, and it will empower them. So this is my dream.
That's great. And along with your dream, you have some interesting things coming up was it June?
Yeah, beginning of summer. Yes. Wempower started as a digital magazine, transitioned it to a podcast, and we also obviously still publishing articles on our website. We do share videos too, and we are launching a series of mini documentaries. So we are going one step at a time to try to bring the stories in different way to our followers and to try to adapt as well to what is happening out there. And I think visually a documentary will place these stories and these women in the best way. So we will launch it June, probably, yes, beginning of June. But I will keep you posted on this very fast. Yeah, it's happening.
Such a great audacious goal, but it sounds like it's going to really make an impact. That's incredible. Yeah, so many unique voices out there, isn't it true?
Yeah.
So many voices and so many stories. So that's why I hope to grow as big as I can, because my aim and my desire has always been to share other people's stories and to give the opportunity to people that are not normally heard, or they don't have the freedom to speak and to express their thoughts, and to be there for them, and so be the person they can tell their stories, and then I can share it with all my network. So
yeah, we are aligned.
Exciting.
We are aligned.
We will get your website in the show notes so that people can go directly there and watch your progress and all the wonderful things that are coming soon.
Perfect. Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. And I think, Janine, you want to ask our next question.
Yeah. So, Ilaria, one of the things that I've noticed is that we all come from somewhere. I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. Well, those early childhood experiences really change us and mold us and shape us. I was wondering if there's something in your upbringing that really brought you to where you are today, your passions, your interest. What kind of upbringing did you have that really inspired you?
So I can start by telling you that I grew up in a family where creativity was the first thing. So I remember when I was 3 years old, I told my mom I wanted to be a ballerina. So I signed up for a ballet course, which I did for like 10, 11 years. So
Wow.
before I decided, not I decided because the teacher actually left the town. So there was no more a place for us to practice ballet. So that was the first approach to arts and to be able of expressing my body through the music and connecting with other people. They were like-minded and so on, and obviously girls, because ballet is probably one of the field where women can still take the lead more than men. I played guitar, and my dad is an artist too, and I always had the opportunity as well to say what I thought. So there was never an occasion where someone told me, you should not say this, or this is wrong, or you're doing something wrong. My parents always been supportive from this point of view. Um, the moment I realized I wanted to be a journalist was when on TV, unfortunately, they passed a news of a journalist. Her name was Ilaria, like me, Ilaria Alpi. So she was killed in Somalia while reporting on a big um, issue related to waste management. The Italian government was involved. It was at the very beginning when Italian journalists will start traveling abroad to Africa, and this story really hit me because first of all, she had my same name. So I was like, wow, okay. And I remember I thought, okay, I want to do her job. I want to be like her when I grow up, to be able to tell the stories and bring stories from far away to Italy, because maybe until that point, I didn't even know where Somalia was. Maybe I saw it on the book at school because I was very little, I was young. So that impressed me. And then my dad used to have a magazine back at high school. So he always put my mind to think like, oh, I can be a journalist, I can write, And in first year of high school, I asked to write for the bulletin, for the school magazine. And it was a kind of like a very exclusive club, I was the junior. They all were all from the senior years. So I was like, okay, let me try. Let's see what happened. And they published my article. So I was, I think, 14 years old. It was a review. I don't remember if it was for a book or for a music, for a group or something completely different from what I do right now. But I was so excited, and I went back home and I said to my mom, they decided to publish my article. So I'm part of the team now. I can write for the school magazine. So that was it. And since then, I never stopped. Honestly, I never left the pen and notebook. I've always been writing a story. So if there is a moment, actually more moments, there would be this that brought me to where I am today.
There's something thrilling about that expression, even at that age, right? Where you finally go, oh my gosh, I have a voice and I can express it. How wonderful.
Yeah. And actually, that was the first and only editorial team that was strictly composed by girls, because I I couldn't find this anymore in my experience as a journalist. In any place I work, I was always either the only woman or like we were very, very little. But it was a female school. So that was the only, we had few boys, and actually they were the minority females. So it was interesting to see, an editorial team run by women. So I think also this is what gets stuck in my mind, and then I use it after to create Wempower, to say that news written by women for women, it's another story. It's something else,
which we'll hear.
Hmm?
Which we will get to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you've had some pivotal moments more recently. You moved to London, but let's go back in time a little bit. And certainly when you were writing in high school, that's a big change. What were some things that happened in between that and more recently that, for instance, what started you thinking about doing Wempower? What got you professionally into journalism, and what was that experience like? So going back in time a little bit.
Let's travel back to to Sardinia. So I left Sardinia after high school and I moved to Rome to study journalism, because by the time I finished high school, so it was 5 years, I realized that was what I wanted to do. I want to work as a journalist. And so actually it was my mom that encouraged me to leave Sardinia and to move out a bit of my comfort zone, to be able to live on my own, experience a life in a different way, rather than choosing a university that was closer to my parents. So I studied journalism, bachelor degrees and the master, and then after that I signed up for it's a training course for war reporter. So my dream at that time, following what Ilaria Alpi inspired me, was to travel to very dangerous areas. So in order to do that in Italy, there is an amazing course that is organized by the army, by the Minister of Defense, and a university, Tor Vergata in Rome. And it's in honor of another journalist that was killed in Afghanistan. So again, she was a female reporter. And I joined this training course, was for 6 months, and we had the opportunity to start working as an embedded journalist with the Italian army. So my first mission, if we can call it like that, was in Kosovo. Well, Kosovo is obviously in peace right now, so it was more like a peace building mission, but we had the opportunity to see how things were working. And then there was Lebanon, and then I tried actually to go to Afghanistan, but because I was a very unknown freelancer, it was very hard to get on the list to go to see what was happening in Afghanistan. And I think my mom, she's a bit relieved of that, because slowly we moved from Kosovo to Lebanon. And then when I told her, I would like to go to Afghanistan, she was like, okay, if this is what you want to do, I'm supporting you, but I would like you to go in a safer place, So during my studies, I also had the opportunity to do, you need to do your curricular internship. So I work in the radio, I work in a magazine, a TV channel, and I start to realize that there were not so many women journalists out there. There were some few very famous ones, but at my stage, at my level, it was more men. So something was bugging me, something was just there in my mind continuously, and I thought, okay, this is not how I would like journalism to be. We need voices, diverse voices from everyone, because it's not just a man and a woman. We are so different. Everyone is different. And back then in Italy, I founded a platform that is similar to Wempower. It was completely in Italian. The name was Uno Sguardo al Femminile. That means like women look. But let's say that maybe Italy was not ready at the moment for something like that. It's not the same support that I'm receiving here in the UK, for which I'm grateful, because the network and the people here are very open-minded. And when we talk about diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, people are really, really open to that. It was 2011, and I think Italy, in general, the media field was not really prepared for something like that. So it never became a business, but for 6-7 years, we share stories from women all over the world. And what I discovered is that you just need to ask and to tell people what you're doing. And I had the chance to meet so many amazing women from America, from China, from Turkey, Africa. As soon as I would contact them and tell them this is what I'm doing, they were like, yeah, sure, Ilaria, this is, I'm ready to have an interview with you. So this will inspire me, empower me up, like, okay, so we can actually do it. Maybe not in a very impactful way like I'm aiming to do right now, but that was a start. And then I moved to Turkey, because I'm always moving around. That was a European voluntary service. So the European Union gives you the possibility to work and travel abroad for a limited amount of time. It was 9 months in my case in Turkey. And I worked for a non-profit, and I was running a TV show. And again, it was just me and another colleague, women. The rest of the people were men. And Turkey is an amazing country. I can say it's my second home right now, but it's obviously regarding gender. in diversity, inclusion, and especially women rights, is at the bottom, and is the situation politically is getting worse. So that gave me the opportunity to meet many other women and to share their stories. And I used to work as a freelance for some Italian magazines, so I reported during the Gezi Park protest. I traveled near the border with Syria, and the opportunity to report from the Kurdish territory. So it was a very, very interesting experience for me, and I was proud of the fact that I could bring these stories back home, so someone could actually see what was happening there. And at the same time, I was still running the platform in Italy, so I would share news also across with that. I get in touch with some Turkish journalists. We decided to get on board. So there were people that wanted to write and they want to actually be involved in a project like this. And then the project, the European Voluntary Service Project finished. So temporarily I went back home. At the time I had a boyfriend, and I came back home because I was like, okay, I'm coming back home. We need to, what a young couple will desire, will think. Let's move on. Let's do something together. Luckily for me, we break up because then I went back to Turkey again to follow the political election and to get more involved with the Kurdish movement and discovering more about the country. And like really, this breakup took me to a position where I was like, again, this is my life. I do what I love, and I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna focus on me and on this story. So maybe if it didn't happen, I wouldn't travel back to Turkey, and I wouldn't be then decided to come to London. So after Turkey, I went back to Sardinia. My mom was happy to have me back home for a few months. But as I was telling you before, working as a freelance journalist in Italy can be very complicated. Salary-wise, you don't earn a lot of money for the articles. So I was getting a little bit frustrated of not having the opportunity to have a full-time contract, to have a job that would like give me the possibility to really do this full-time and to focus all my energy on that. So I say to my mom, I'm going to London tomorrow. I have the ticket. And she say, okay.
Off you went. Yeah. So Ilaria, when I hear your story, I'm struck by how expansive your dreams are and how nimble you are at moving. Is there anyone in your world right now who's mentored you, guided you, inspired you, been somebody a influencer for you?
Well, I would say my first mentor is my mom and was my grandmother as well. So I had this very strong women figure in my life. I believe that I've been mentored by all the people I met. Somehow everyone taught me something. So I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't face some bullies or some supportive people or people that would push and believe in my dreams, or people that, they wouldn't really share my perspective. We would have an argument or a conversation in every possible way. I've been inspired by everyone. I think this is me. Even the fact that I love to travel, I love to discover new cultures. I'm always placing myself in a situation that is not comfortable. So I tend to get out of my comfort zone, because then I want to go home and say, I learned something, or I discovered something more about myself. But at the moment, I actually have a mentor, like a proper mentor, because I've been selected by the Santander Breakthrough mentorship program for women in business. Yeah. So for the next 9 months, I will have a woman which has a story quite similar to mine. So she's a very strong person too. They will mentor me and guide me to push Wempower to the next level. So
congratulations.
Thank you. This is actually like a proper mentorship.
Sure.
But otherwise, it's every woman and every person I met that really inspire me every day.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's being open to it, right? I mean, allowing people to imprint on you and give you something. It's a gift.
Exactly. Even if maybe it's not going to end up with the best friendship or, best colleagues relationship, what it's you learn something from everyone.
It changes you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you have done a lot of work promoting women's stories, and so I imagine your perspective is constantly broadening with regard to the nuance and the uniqueness of each person that you interview. What would you say are some of the challenges that are perhaps a little more consistent and ubiquitous, if you will, within all of the different women, with regard to the different women's stories that you've documented? What are some of the challenges that they face?
Well, 90% of them, they always find to choose between a family and a career. So this is the biggest, I think, challenge and obstacle, because depending on the field where you work, is not really possible for you to either take a gap to take care of a child, or you are not paid enough, you are not supported by the colleagues or by law, by the companies. So one common obstacle, especially with the recent stories that we share, was this. But despite the problem that they may have faced, all of them, they have an amazing career and they have kids. So somehow they manage to overcome it. And this is one thing I really want to insist as well with Wempower, because sometimes when you read stories about women, they always tell you, oh, she's the first president, the first director, the first anything. Or it's a very negative news. So they talk about us in numbers of how many women cannot have a career, how many women get killed every day, how many women face difficulties. And there is always this very, you read the articles and you have a bit, I mean, I feel like I'm not represented. So all the women I interview, they always have a positive outcome. So doesn't matter really the obstacle that they have to face, they manage somehow. It's either with the help of the family, with their determination, with their passion, the skills, the knowledge. It's and this is what is really important for me. Like, we have a problem, and it's clear there is a problem with the way women are perceived and treated everywhere in the world and in every work environment. But there are also women that they successfully overcome all of these problems. So we need to tell them these stories, because these stories will inspire the next generation of women of thinking, okay, she's an astronaut, I can be an astronaut. She's a physics, I can be a physics. She doesn't look like, she's not a nerd, she doesn't look like the way, they will describe women because they decide to be a scientist, they decide to be a doctor, they decide to be a president. We are all unique and we all have amazing skills. So, and they are out there, these women. So they deserve to be represented. And I wish that if I will have a daughter, or the daughters of my friend will be able to grow up in a world where they say, okay, I can see someone that look like me that did what I want to do, so I can. No one will tell me I can't. So this is really important.
Well, Ilaria, you talk about how conflict and obstacles and all of your guests and who you've encountered have been able to survive and kind of surpass all that. When you think about your younger self and where you are today, how has your approach to obstacles and conflict changed over time? What do you know about yourself now that is a little different than your younger self?
Well, this is a very good question. I would say that obviously every experience that I lived made me the person I am today. And when I was younger, I used to maybe, I don't know, complain a little bit more and be more like, I cannot do this, I'm not worth it. Let me know, I'm not going to apply for that job because it's not for me, or I'm not going to talk to that person because it's going to judge me. I was very, very conscious of I'm a woman, there are a lot of problems, or I'm a girl from a small town, I'm growing up, and I will let this obstacle take me down, and I will think, okay, I can't do it. Then moving to London, actually, it changed my mindset a bit, and even before that, even Turkey, to be abroad in a country that I don't know the language, I don't know, completely different culture, religion, made me more resilient and more like stronger, and in a way that I'm aware of what I bring to the table. I'm not afraid anymore. So I will come and ask you whatever question I want to ask you. And then if you want to answer me politely or not, or if you want to accept the interview or not, that's up to you. But I'm not scared anymore to make that step. And if I find myself in a situation where I'm struggling or I'm suffering, maybe I will ask for help. Before I will not do it, because I will feel very proud, like, okay, I can fix this by myself. And actually I couldn't. So I know that I'm surrounded by a group of friends and people that they will be there for me. And each one of them has a particular knowledge or skill that can help me. So if one day I'm struggling with something, I will ask for help, because I can't do everything. So even admitting my own limits gave me the possibility to grow stronger.
Well, I also hear your awareness of limiting beliefs. I mean, you kind of overcame them by questioning them. I forget who said that not all of your thoughts are true. And so if you can kind of tune into what you're telling yourself and saying, I am a little girl from a small town, but not, I have big dreams and bigger things. It sounds like you really touch your fear. You just go right after it and challenge what you're thinking and say, is that really something that should hold me back? I'm fascinated by that, because so many of us have these thoughts in our head that we're not even aware of to change, right? You can't change them if you're not aware of them.
No, and also you should never be one thing, especially women. We always thinking, what is that person thinking about me?
Right.
So sometimes and the feedback, the reaction will pull us down, because sometimes I found myself in a situation where someone told me, oh, you're a bit straightforward, you are too strong. And maybe at the beginning I will take this very bad and think, okay, I'm not really that person. You really is wrong. But then I decided, okay, so then I'm strong, I'm straightforward, I'm fine with that. If you are not fine with that, that's your problem. This is me, and as far as I'm not rude or I'm not disrespecting you, I don't want to stop using my voice or saying what I think. So it's also this switch, like few years ago, and I will stop and think about, okay, this is what they're thinking. It really hurts. Now it's different. So
yeah, it's freeing, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's really liberating, because then you can use your mind and your energy to think about something else rather than draining in this negative thoughts,
When I grow up, I want to be like you.
We all could use a little Ilaria.
A little Ilaria, yeah.
Ilaria, what are some qualities that, particularly as a woman, you think you bring to your work?
Well, first of all, I'm a very curious person, so I like to discover new things, new people, new stories. So definitely, especially if you talk about journalism, this is a quality that you must have. If you are not curious about the world, you cannot tell a story. You don't have that state of mind. I'm very resilient, and resilience is something I've been cultivating, especially in the past few years. As I said before, I was not aware of this when I was younger, and it's something that it's really important to, even if you fail or if things they don't go as you plan, you always need to find that energy to stand up. Maybe one day you can cry, you can eat a box of ice cream, you can call your mom like, oh my God, this is all wrong. Yeah? The day after, you're back, and that's it, and you go. And I'm very creative as well, so I'm always looking for new way to share my stories, express my ideas, my mind. So even Wempower is a representation of this creativity, because it started as a magazine, then a podcast, then we go into documentary, and I don't know, in 6 months maybe you're gonna talk to me again and I will tell you, and now it's a live TV show, who knows. So I think this is really important, and I know that I'm not alone in this journey, so I like to bring people with me. And if I see a friend or a colleague that is it's either struggling or maybe needs some help or some support or just a little push, I'm not afraid of the competition or this drama games between colleagues, and I'm always there to say, okay, I give you a hand, I push you. So yeah.
I love it. From that perspective, what are some strengths that you think women in general bring that are unique to being female?
Well, women are very cooperative and collaborative. They know they work as a team, and they are very supportive. And the fact as well that women are mothers, I think this say it all. Although unfortunately, I think this is a trait that we are losing a little bit because of being used to work and live in a male-dominated society. We kind of like adjusting to the way men will behave. So we fight with each other. We are jealous. We are not supportive. And unfortunately for me, this is a big mistake, because it's a prerogative of a woman to nurture other people, to be collaborative, to make that person as well grow. So these are the main characteristics for a woman in leadership. So, and also to listen. We are good listener, and we should be able to do that more often. And I would say for me the most important are these.
So, Ilaria, when I listen to you, there's an intensity around you. You know that, right? Like there's an intensity, there's energy, there's driving, and change the world. I'm kind of wondering, what do you do for self-care? What do you do in your softer moments of taking care of yourself and just when you're relaxing? And what is it that you do? How do you take care of yourself in that way?
So I don't relax too much.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
I should do that more often. I have a friend of mine. She's a massage therapist, and every time she sees me, she's like, "Ilaria, you're not even able to relax when someone. If I make you a massage, like there's something wrong with you. Just stop. Stop for a second." But apart from this, I like. I'm actually training right now, like in a very consistent way, 3 times a week, and I'm doing boxing, which is something I never done. And I think it was a decision after 1 year being in lockdown, COVID, pandemic. I had a lot of anxiety inside for all of this, not being able to see. My family lives in Sardinia, and I can't travel to go and see them. My sister lives in Australia. It's even worse, definitely. I don't know when I'm going to see her. So I've been holding all of this stress inside me. So I say, okay, this year I started with boxing. And I wake up very early in the morning. I do my training, and in these days I feel I have another energy. So my body is a little bit, it's ready for what is coming after, and I already relieved all the tension. And I like to go for long walk. I love my music, so I always, or maybe I carry a book with me. I sit on the bench on the river, and I just unwind a bit. But I should be doing this more often, to be honest.
Yeah, that's where your ideas come, right? I'm a big Julia Cameron fan, and just finished a group work with The Artist Way. And she's one of these people that says, connecting to nature, having a walk outside, that's where all your creativity and your ideas kind of seep in. That's when the universe speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
So, and the universe speaks to you through boxing gloves, I guess.
Maybe actually, if I look for inspiration, I don't go to the nature, because I don't see too many people there. So what I like to do, if I really need to distress, I take a bus, the London bus, the double-deckers, and I just go through the city. And I like to look, at people, at things, how I don't know, the traffic, the movement is just like that. That's where I get my energy, my inspiration. Yeah.
And back to the curiosity piece.
Yeah.
I come from 3-4 generations of boxers, so yeah, it's intense.
It is. Apparently, I still need to work on some moves, but it's just started. So
you get better at it. It's practice, right?
Practice.
Yeah, practice. Yeah.
What are Ilaria? What are some resources, things that you are reading, other writers and podcasts that you? Of course, you listen to our podcast.
Of course.
But
I haven't listened to the whole episodes, but of course, yes.
Yeah. So what are some things that you're doing to take in information and learn?
Well, I read biographies, and they are always from women. So I like to read, again, it's back to stories. I like to read stories of other women and see how they did things in their times or in their field. I recently finished to read this. I don't know if you see. It's
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
it's a very little book, but I would say that every woman in general, but every woman in leadership should read this book. So it's written by Abby Wambach, the football player, and it's all about women being a wolf pack, so being there for each other. There are a lot of flashback to her career as an athlete, and obviously the discipline connected with sports. And I find it very inspiring, and it's really important, as I said to you before, to remind us that we are collaborative, we are a group, we don't walk alone, that we are always surrounded by our sisters, so we need to be there for them. So this is the last book I read. But normally, you will see me browsing for biography. That's all. That's all I read.
yeah.
Or Middle Eastern Arabic books, because I like the cultures. I lived in Turkey. I've been to Lebanon. I also been to Palestine. So I'm always looking to read content that is also related with what I know already, and what I find really interesting and very inspiring.
Speaking of inspiring, what are you most hopeful for with regard to women in leadership in the world and influence?
Well, I hope that program like Taking a Lead, Wempower, and other organizations, they will really support women in leadership. And in 5-10 years, we're not going to be sitting here saying, okay, there are still not enough women out there.
Yeah.
So the hope is that we take our seat where we belong, and we are not scared anymore of asking that pay rise, or deciding to be a mother and having a career, or tell that male colleague to shut up because maybe they're not saying the right thing. So I believe there is a lot. I'm very hopeful for women in leadership in the future, and I believe that the fight that our grandmothers and the great grandmothers they started, we need to finish, and it's an ongoing change, but it's not impossible. And there are so many women out there, they are doing amazing things, and they need to keep doing that, and we need to bring them to the under the spotlight. So really, then we're gonna have more women inspired, and they will take the lead by themselves
Love it.
without the help of anyone else.
Yeah. Janine, anything else you wanted to ask? You always have
well, I'm
burning
just
question.
struck by your energy and how much you bring forward of yourself, and just your willingness to be vocal. And are there times when being in the forefront and being out there have gotten you into a little bit of trouble? I can imagine being in some of the countries that you've been in and being a woman on a mission, that there might have been some times when you were in sticky situations. Does that resonate with you or not?
Yeah.
It's just something that, I just get that vibe that, you might get yourself in a little bit of sticky stuff once in a while.
Yes, it did happen, especially in Turkey. Because I was when the Gezi protest started, I was there with the European project, and I decided to go and meet the students that they were protesting. And obviously, I exposed myself a little bit. And at the time, and still now, the Turkish government was controlling social media and everything that people will share. It was like no freedom at all. So I found myself in a position where I had to change my name on the social media and go under like a fake identity, because I didn't want to lose the opportunity to stay in the country and keep reporting. So I had to kind of like, go a little bit low key, because I could feel they were watching for us. There were not many foreigners in the city where I was working. So of course, we will jump to the eye, they will see us and be like, okay, you are here with the camera, you're interviewing people. Who are you writing for? Where are the stories going? What are you going to say about what is really happening? Because early in the morning, bulldozer will came, and we just like, pass over the tent, and the students were sleeping there. They were there. So what they did was not obviously good, and we were there to say it. So that was a situation where I had to say to myself, okay, just a little bit more careful. And but apart from the experience in Turkey, I always try to be smart. I found myself in a problematic situation always, sometimes even here now, because I say things and I'm honest. I will tell you exactly what I think about, and sometimes the person on the other side doesn't really like it. So I learn with the time that I need to be a little bit more like this.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, Ilaria, this has just been fabulous. And obviously we are so aligned, as mentioned, with the work that you're doing. And, who knows, maybe we can collaborate more at some point. And we, viewers, of course, we will put in the show notes link to Wempower and how to be involved. And Ilaria, you let us know if there's other ways that we can promote your work, and we'll all be looking forward to the documentary when that comes out.
If you want, we just released today is an episode is a podcast episode. Two researchers, they work for the Donocchi Foundation in Italy, and it's a interview with two speakers. So it's the first time we do something like that. Two women, they have a similar experience, and they share how they found themselves living and working as a female scientist in Italy. What's the situation look like? And what does it mean to be also a mother, because they're both mothers, and still pursue a career as a researcher. And I think is a really interesting point of view also, because they are very, very young, both of them, and they are amazing what they are doing. They are working on some amazing project related to the STEM field. So if you want to hear it, it's on our Podbean channel, Wempower.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah. Send us the specific link to that.
Yeah. Well, Ilaria, I don't tell too many people this. It never comes up in conversation, but I was a women's studies major back in the early 80s in the first women's studies program in the country for the US. And when I hear you speak, I realize that, oh my gosh, in 40 years, we have really made some strides in giving women a platform, a voice to really showcase their talents. And, when I look at you, I think to myself, wow, just me at that age, I wouldn't have been able to have the same kind of liberties, and that all those little steps forward have really created some momentum and allowed us to be expansive in the world. And so I admire your courage and your voice and your drive. And, I know that, 40 years from now, you're going to be looking back on your career and saying, wow, I made a difference. And I'm so delighted for you, and so delighted to be, having you here and being our colleague and sharing everything It's been great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm blushing. I don't know. Well, what you say, it's amazing for me to listen to this kind.
I'm really touched by your story. You're making a difference.
And as you say, I hope that maybe in 20, 30 years, we're going to be saying, okay, look what's happening, what they are doing, the others, the young women. So it's, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to share my story. I say this to Joshua, it's the first time I actually been interviewed and have the possibility to say what I've done. And it's been amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Guys. How was it to be on the other side of the microphone?
It is weird, to be honest, sometimes, because we are so used to ask questions to others, and we are not really keen as well to share our stories. So it's it's difficult. Now I understand how people feel when I ask questions.
That's great. Great perspective. Yeah.
Perspective, yeah.
Well, Ilaria, this has been a real privilege. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate hearing your story, and keep up the great work.
Yeah.
Thank you again for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be talking very soon.
Thanks.
Definitely. We'll see you soon.
Great. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wow.
What a dynamo.
Yeah. Intense.
Yeah. Lots of energy. And I love how she can really touch her fear. Like, she can be afraid and move forward at the same time. And it takes so much courage to do that.
It does. And I think that her willingness to reflect on her views and look for ways to learn and improve that's powerful.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not everybody has that strength, right? It comes
Mm-hmm.
from a place of strength. So
when I think about her description of kind of honoring that other people might feel differently about her work and about her, but it doesn't stop her. You know, I think that that's a challenge that we all have, men and women, is we worry about what other people think, and it stifles us and it silences us. And she's an example of somebody who can just, you know, full steam ahead and kind of temper herself in terms of politeness and respect, but not let it silence her. So I admire that in somebody.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Well, we talked about what's coming up next. Of course, we have Lindsay Bridges on Monday, and Adalazia Devona her episode is going to drop on Thursday.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah.
There's a tenderness I have on listening to that episode. She's just so strong and dynamic, and yet so sweet.
Yeah.
Just, you know, that it's really those juxtaposed that she has a soft side and a determined
Fierce side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fierce is a great word for her.
Yeah,
So very
absolutely.
much coming up. It's going to be fabulous.
Anything else we should let our viewers and listeners know about?
You know, other than I think it's really important to share, we are kind of at the cusp of really getting to where we can reach a lot of women. And I think it's important. I think Ilaria is the example of what we're trying to achieve, is that if we don't have that collective community pushing forward, we want to make those advancements and get those voices heard. There's a lot of great ideas out there running around, and a lot of people of influence who have something to share. So it's really important.
Absolutely.
And rate and review us. That's probably the best way people can find us, is a rate and a review. So
yeah, as some people know, on iTunes, that's the way that you get pushed up to greater visibility. So that's really important to us.
Yeah.
And commenting on particularly there, but also commenting on LinkedIn and on YouTube, Facebook. So let's keep this ball rolling and expand what we're doing.
And I think that we should let our listeners know that Mariah Cooley's coming up in May. You know, we have some really great people coming up, and Fran Hale and Liz Perpetua. And so we have a really great lineup coming up of women who are so diverse and have so many different approaches to their world. And so I'm really excited to hear every one of them.
Yeah, same here. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
It's great to see you, Joshua.
Likewise, Janine. And everyone will be talking soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.